Hi, it's Nick from 2 Cents Pizza, and today I'm going to give you my top tips on high hydration dough. So tip number one is choose the right flour. So we need something really absorbent if we're going to go up to 70, 80, 90% hydration. So I'm going to use Petra 5063, and I know that'll really take the water. Right. So tip two is use an Autolyse. So all we're doing there is mixing the flour and the water together. No yeast, no salt. We're just going to let those sit for half an hour, So I'm going to Autolyse this at 60% hydration, so just straight in with all the water. And we don't need to mix this to a really smooth dough. All we want is for the flour and water to be combined, and then we're going to let it sit for half an hour. Right, that's great. All our flour and water is combined now, and all we're going to do is cover it up and leave that to rest for half an hour is great. If you've got an hour, perfect. Tip three, consider using a preferment like bigger. That will mean that you're able to get more water into your mix. And if you'd like a recipe, send us a DM and we'll sort you out.
30 minutes later.
Right, so we've had our half an hour rest there. So add your yeast now. And now we're just going to top up the hydration. So we started at 60% hydration for the Autolyse, and now we're going to set it running. And we're just going to add our water splash by splash. So I'll just put a splash of water in there, and that's been incorporated. You can see in the bottom there, it looks almost like dirty water in there. Once the bowl's clean and we've lost the sheen off the top of the dough, you know, another splash. And don't try and pour too much in there at once, or it'll make it difficult to combine. So you can see it's clean in the bottom now. You just need to lose that sheen off the dough. And then a little splash, not too much. And it's not a process that we want to rush, because if we put too much water in too quickly, it might start to get lumpy, or we'll not get a good consistency on the dough. So don't try and rush this part. So whilst this mixture is running, it's going to add heat, it's going to add friction, and we don't want this dough to overheat. So I know this is a good mixture and I know how much friction it adds, and I'll put the right temperature water in there so it doesn't overheat. So you get to know for yourself, if you've got a mix that adds a lot of friction, you need to use colder water, and just keep your eye on the temperature. We're only 17 degrees now for this. For Petra flour, I don't want to go above 25, 26 degrees for our end dough temperature. So tip four, we're going to increase the speed, and that'll help us go up with our hydration. So if you've got a multi-speed mixer, brilliant. The higher we go with the speed, the more friction, the more heat it's going to add. So we just need to balance that. We don't want to crank it up too high and heat our dough up too much. So that's our mix now, 80% hydration. It's handling really nicely. I've wet my hands slightly so it's not sticking. So tip number five is stretch and fold. So this will just help with the strength of the dough, and if it's a little bit sticky, it'll help with that stickiness.
Got any top tips for that technique?
Not be weak. So we've got a lovely smooth surface on there, and my hand's not sticking to it. We'll give it a little rest, 10-15 minutes, come back to it, start to relax, and we'll do that again. maybe 2 or 3 sets of those. Oh, my glasses start to come down like I'm an old lady. I can feel myself.
Why do you do that 2 or 3 times?
It'll just, every time you do it, it'll build that gluten strength a little bit more, and it'll get rid of any little stickiness. So you can just see from your dough, everyone's dough will be different. It might need 1 set of stretches, it might need 4 or 5 set of stretches, but just when it feels right to you, the stickiness is gone and you've got a nice strong dough. So we are making Detroit pizza today with our high hydration dough. So the last tip is cook it at lower temperature. So we need to cook that water out. If we cooked it at 500, it would be a disaster. So we'll go lower, we'll go at 300 and we'll get a nice crispy product. So that was my top tips for high hydration dough. If you've got any questions, drop a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Over now.